So welcome ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going to be doing a bit of tutorial action. So if you saw the video I did yesterday, I put out a gameplay, realistic, looked phenomenal I thought, and a lot of you guys thought the same, so appreciate the views and everything else on that. Before we get into this, hit that like button, smash it right away, and of course subscribe for your daily PES and the odd FIFA video as well. So we're going to be doing the tutorial, showing you guys how to install this. Before we do that, I would like to show you what I am running on my laptop. Some of you have been asking, what do I run PES on? So here it is. So we've got a GeForce GTX 1060, an Intel Core i7 7700. I think this came out in like June, my laptop, so it's not super old, and 16 gig of RAM. And for the GeForce GTX, I think it's 3 gig of video RAM. I don't have the 6 gig version, just the 3, but it's certainly enough for what it does, so that is what I am running. Now, before we do get into this video, if you want to check out or haven't checked out this video I have right here, which I'm going over, how to install stadiums, balls, Champions League and more, check it out, because this does apply to likes of adding graphics mods to the turf and stuff. But the EvoSwitcher does have a lot of stuff built in, such as the balls, the scoreboards and stuff like that. So you don't really have to worry about that. But check it out if you'd like to. It gives you a little bit of knowledge about what we will be doing today. Now, EvoSwitcher 2.0, let's have a look at this. This is the all-in-one version we're going to be using, which came out, which makes it far easier to install than before. Before you had to install 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Well, now we can just do an all-in-one. Now, if you have 1.4 or 1.3 and all that, you've got to delete those folders, as you can see here. Delete the EvoSwitcher folder, delete the module folder, and then just copy all the rest into the installation folder itself. You'll see part 1 and part 2 right here. The password is down here as well if you would like. There is passwords for these files, so check them out. I'm going to leave the links to the direct forum itself. Okay, the reason I do this is, number one, I'm not taking any appreciation or any of the work done. You know, this isn't mine. This is done by other people who do a fantastic job. Some of these require you to go in there and leave a comment just to say thank you, sweet mod, awesome work, whatever you want to say, so you can download it. Just appreciate the guys' work, and I know you guys do, but it takes a few minutes. And that way, you know, we're making sure everyone stays alert, communication's there, and if you have any problems, let anyone know on EvoWeb, and they will gladly help you out. Alright, so let's go into the fun stuff. This is my copy of PES 2019, as you can see right here. And we've got a couple of additions. If you have a fresh install of PES, you're not going to have the likes of ad boards and balls or graphics mods, stadiums. You won't have the EvoSwitcher or the toolbox, which disables the broadcast zoom-in feature, which is a pain in the ass, or Cider. Okay, but don't worry, you're basically just going to copy and paste anyway. I'm not going to obviously do this from a fresh install point because I'd lose everything I have. So what we're going to be doing is moving this over. I have Evo 2.0 right here. Here it is. So these are the files. If you have a fresh install, it's easy. Drag these into there. That's it. Boom. Straight across. Nothing else needed. If you have 1.4 like I did, you're going to delete those two folders, which I've already done. So you're going to grab these and you're going to swing them over. And it's quite a decent size file. It's about 1.1 gig. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. So I'll let this copy over, and then once it's done, obviously we'll carry on. Okay, now if it does ask you to replace the files, which you may have them in there if you installed it before, if it's a fresh install, it shouldn't ask you to do that, but always just click yes, replace them all, and there we have it, magic. So you should have all these files added now into your copy of PES 2019. So after that, we are going to actually need to use a fix, because there is obviously Evo 2.1, which is a fix from the last one. This one's very simple. You don't really need to do anything else other than simply copy these over. So just drag and drop again, replace those 9 files, and you are good to go. Modules is pretty much where everything is taken from. They grab all the code and everything else from there. So you've got the scoreboards, all the different scoreboards are in there. The scenes, the referees, the graphics, the entrance, everything is in there. It's taken from the game whilst you're playing. Now from there, I mean, we can click on the EvoSwitcher. obviously run it as an admin if you need to. I always run it as an admin. And this is the little switcher itself. When you hit play game, it's just going to pop the game up for you and open up Cider as well. And if down here, the status should always say Cider ready, game not playing. It works well. Now, if you want to tweak it, this is what I was doing before, along with the game speed, which is what I was talking about. You can turn on and off the ball cursor, the little X that shows up on the screen. If you want to disable that, turn it off. You can enable or disable the game speed. If you turn it off, it's going to be default game speed. Turn it on, you can make it slower and faster. Obviously, slower is left, faster is to the right. And you can turn on and off the Evo Reb sort of logos. So if you don't want the logos, turn them off or on. It's up to you. So we'll back out of that because obviously we're not needed. It's just to show you guys. And the next step will be to basically customize this and tweak it. Now, you're not going to need the broadcast camera download. Last time they didn't have this, but I've just downloaded it here to see if it's the same. Last time I dragged these in because the switcher didn't have the broadcast camera tweaks enabled. It only had the dynamic. Well, they've added, obviously, the live broadcast right here. So now that's another thing we have to skip. This really is a very easy install. It shouldn't take you long at all. So now that that's done, we're going to go back to the main folder itself. Now, if you want to disable the broadcast camera zoom in feature, which is annoying and really just you don't need, I'll leave the link for it in the description, but you're going to find these two files right here. It's called PES 2019 toolbox.exe and then the config file. Once again, drag those in there. I'm not going to skip them because I already have them, or I'm not going to replace them for now. But just drag them in there. If you don't have them already, it won't ask you to do that. Now, what happens after that is simply double-click on the PES 2019 toolbox file. It's going to open up, and it's going to ask you if you want to disable or enable it. Just click disable. Bam, right there. And now it's disabling that silly zoom in feature. Now, if you want the graphics mod, which is the turf, and I did cover this in my other video that I said to check out, so please check that one out so I'm not double repeating myself. But you will simply make a GFX space mod folder, and then or download it. It may even be already set up for you, and it's simply drag and drop. And then within here is a whole bunch of other folders and files which you don't need to worry about. But what you do need to make sure you do is go down here to the cider.ini folder file. Here it is. Now, this is where you can customize your game a little bit more. This is where it pulls all the information, and you're going to need to put some code underneath live cpk.enabled. So I've already have this saved, so I can just pretty much copy and paste what I have. But you're going to put it right here, and that's what it's going to be. cpk.root, which is always the same, space equals space, a bit of what's the name, quotes, dots / gfx space mod, and then just close it up with another quote right there. Okay, now what that will do is it will pull the folders from the GFX folder and put it into your game. It has to read exactly the same. Okay, if this is lowercase and this is uppercase, it will not work. I cover this in my other video. Check it out. I'll leave a link for that video in the description. But you're basically using cider.ini to always pull information from other folders that are set up. If I wanted, I could also use balls, and I could use add boards. I will use the add boards because I don't really know if they're in the game itself. So yeah, I'm going to add that as well. So everything you put in, just stack it one under the other. Once you're happy, obviously hit save. I'm not going to worry about balls because apparently there are already balls in this one. Stadiums, I don't know if I don't think there are stadiums, so we're going to add the stadiums. But once again, just please check out the other video on where to get all this information because it is already been covered. But if you just want EvoSwitcher, you can simply just ignore this if you don't want to have the stadiums and the turf and all that. So once you have all that stuff, you want to just go to File and Save. Okay, simply save it and you can exit out of it. So right now we have pretty much set it all up. This is how your folder should look, depending on whether you want to have the stadiums, the graphics, etc. But ultimately you should have all these files in here to get what you want to get. Okay, so once this is all done, pretty much set up, so we can now dive into the game itself, run it, and then check it out. So to run it, very simple, right click or left click actually on EvoSwitcher.exe. Tweak these if you want to tweak them. If you don't, I'm going to actually up this one and then hit play game. Okay, and then the game will load up and I'll see you guys in a second to test it. Okay, so now we are in the game itself, and it does say that if we do Bundesliga, we should get their scoreboard. So let's give this a bit of a test, alright? So we'll go down here to the Bundesliga, depending on what file or folder or patch you have. I still need to update mine because some of my fonts are pretty, you know, outdated. But there we go. So we've got Bayern Munich, we've got Borussia Dortmund. Now, if you do go to stadiums, you should have 53 if you've done the stadium part right, like I did with the code there, and that will give you, you know, the extras. So Old Trafford, Allianz Stadium. We should have Signal Iduna Park, but let's obviously do the Allianz Arena, seeing as we are Bayern Munich. And the camera settings, I would switch to live broadcast because you will have the luxury of changing that. Now, if you've done it right as well, if you hit the space bar, bam, there you can see it. Up pops this little bit of dialogue which tells you what you can do. If you press 0, you'll reload the original files, delete to clear info messages, 9 to switch between sort of using different commands and all that fun stuff. And you can also press 8 to use your favorite ball, which is kind of cool. Okay, so what you can actually do, as I just realized here, if you press a 9, as you can see here on the thing, you can select your ball type, and then you can use page up and down on the keyboard to sort of go through here and find one that you obviously want to use. So if I wanted to use the likes of the Bundesliga, now I don't know if this works in-game, which would be kind of cool if it does. I'm going to use the Derby Star Bundesliga here and just go for that. So let's try it and play around with it. Okay, so here we are in-game, and as you can see, there it is, the Bundesliga scoreboard. It's alive and kicking, so it looks like it has worked out quite nicely. And obviously if you play Premier League, you're going to get those scoreboards. If you play Serie A, you're going to get those as well. So yeah, we'll let this run through. You can see the turf as well is the newly updated turf mod, which looks phenomenal. I mean, it really just adds a whole dimension to this game. And certainly if you start playing some Master League and that, it's going to make it a lot more interesting. Take note though, this will not work online. I have tried this online and you get into a match, but once the game starts, it abandons the match and just kicks you out. And you basically get a draw, or the game just, you know, gives you a 0-0 with your opponent. So yeah, it doesn't actually work online. So there we go, there's the overlays, the scoreboards. Obviously Robin and Ribery are not in the game, they've been created. Although they should have the real face on the PC, depending on what you're using. And then, of course, we have Dortmund itself. Alsace playing pretty well up top. Okay, so there we have it. As you can see, it looks fantastic. Scoreboards are there. Fox Sports is there. Magic. Okay, so now we go to the camera itself. Okay, so we've gone to camera settings. We've hit the space bar. All right, up pops that. Now, if you use number 1, okay, number 1 on the keyboard, you can change, as you can see, through the different ones. So what Evo Ball does, this is pretty much what it will do. If you're playing Master League and you want to switch the ball, you can do that through this before the match starts. It's not going to change in-game, because that's just mad. But it will change before the match starts. So if you feel like playing in the FA Cup, change the ball. It may even change itself on auto, but the option is yours. But if you hit 1 on the keyboard, we can go to, this is dynamic, but we're playing on broadcast. So we'll hit here, and you can see at the top right there, it says Evo Live Broadcast Camera. Now from here, we can use different buttons. 9 goes up, down goes down. Down goes down. 9 on the keypad goes up, 0 goes down, and use the plus and the minus to change the zoom or anything you want. If you want to play on the exact camera I played on for that video, these are the numbers. So take note, pause the video right now, and there we have it. 20.61, 0.33, 0.3, 1.01, and 0.5. If you want to change it, obviously you can do that as well. So I can zoom this out. I can zoom it in. I mean, you know, it's customizable to an absolute T. You just play around with it. You can do what you want. I mean, it's fantastic. It really is. And you can do this with dynamic camera as well. So if we go back and we change this to dynamic wide, and we go back here, we hit 1 on the keyboard, we go to dynamic camera, and once again we use the plus and the minus to simply tweak it. So we can zoom in, we can change the height. If you want to play sensible look, we can play like this. If I really wanted to play sensible soccer, as they call it. There we have it. Absolutely brilliant. It's a different way to play the game, but it certainly is quite interesting. So you have that luxury to do that, obviously, depending on how far you want the camera to go up and down. So, yeah, we'll go back here, and we'll just change this back to broadcast. And there we have it. Now you have this fantastic looking game. I mean, game speed will change as well. I've got this on beginner, by the way, so the AI aren't going to do much to me. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. It works in a nutshell, doesn't it? Let me quickly run a Serie A match, and we'll have a look at those overlays just to double check. He's had to go from distance there. Oof, it's over the bar. And there we go. Look at that. Nice little Bundesliga animation. Magic. Okay, so now we've got a match we're going to show you between Juve and Milan. Okay, now I'm going in here because if you actually do go to the balls, not all the ball types are here. As you can see, I've changed this now to the Merlin Serie A. And as you can see, no matter what I change here, it's always going to be that one ball. If I change it again to, you know, another league, go back onto it, it's always going to be that one as well. So I recommend you do just use the actual EvoSwitcher to just change. So obviously we want to play Serie A, so we'll use the Merlin Serie A ball, and we're playing at the Juve Stadium. So let's have a look at it. Let's check out the overlays and see what it looks like. So we're at the Juve Stadium, and there it is. Once again, a different type of overlay. I mean, I have to say, this year, without a doubt, the mods are absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, to be able to do this on the fly, just changing the camera, changing the ball, it's fantastic. I mean, I know, look, they say, Konami, why can't they do this, that, and the other? I mean, you don't think you could do this on the PS4. It's very intensive, but it's amazing. Amazing job they've done. So please head over to the links, leave a massive like, comment, whatever you need to do, and follow the tutorial. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know in the comments. I'll try my best to answer. But it should be pretty straightforward. EvoSwitcher is drag and drop from default. If you have nothing else in your folder, it's a fresh install. It should work, no problem. And if you have a patch running already, like PTE patch, you should be able to, there it is as well, you should be able to just go in there and drag them in, drop them in, and there you have it. Change a couple of files. If you want to put the stadiums in, their graphics like the turf, follow what I did, follow my other video, okay, because all the information is there. I don't really want to cover it in two same videos, but yeah, this is it, right here and there. You can see it works 100%. I think the main thing I really love, the fact that obviously the scoreboards change according to what competition you're in. The turf looks phenomenal. And the camera angle. You know, I actually made this myself, as in I came up with these coordinates. I played around with it for a while, but I think this really gives it a great feel, the game. I mean, it looks stunning. And this camera is next level. So there we have it. Let's actually kind of want to do something. Just see the... Let me have a quick shot on goal, if I can get a chance. Come on, Ronaldo, you're in. So I kind of want to see what happens here. Oh, nice play. Let's see the overlay for Serie A. Because Ronaldo's not happy. Oh, there isn't one. Okay, fair enough. I guess it depends what competition you're in. Maybe because Serie A is already in the game, whereas Bundesliga's been tweaked. But anyway, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all for today. I'll be back with more content. I probably need to put the contrast down on this video because it's a little bit dark. But I'll be back shortly. Hit the like button if you did enjoy it, and questions, comments as well, leave below. Till next time, take care.